China's EV industry is now spending more abroad than at home. For years, China's electric vehicle industry was very selective with where it put its money. The homegrown efforts proved to pay off in the short term, as EV and plug-in hybrid demand absolutely exploded. But then the domestic market reached a dangerous point of oversaturation. Too many car brands and not enough buyers, even in the world's second most populous country. Now, the Chinese auto industry is becoming an export-focused one, and that has big implications for the rest of the world. China EV industry spends more abroad for the first time ever. Last year, Chinese automakers were accused of producing vehicles at a rate well above what their own market could sustain. Great Wall Motors head of international operations, Parker Shi, told the Financial Times that he believed overcapacity was a fake concept. "I don't like that kind of judgment from the third party. They don't know what is happening in my house," said Shi. Just over a year later, and China's EV market is in trouble. An ongoing price war and pressure from local governments to meet production quotas have resulted in brands performing some shady tactics, like selling zero-mile used EVs and flooding global markets with their cars. Investment firms have picked up on this, and are now, for the first time ever, investing more abroad than at home. That news comes from Rhodium Group, an investment research group that released a new report showing a historic shift in China's EV investments for 2024. After years of directing 80% of its investments domestically, China has instead invested $16 billion overseas, as opposed to just $15 billion into its own market. Here is the reason behind the shift, according to Bloomberg. Chinese companies are being driven to expand globally, as overcapacity and a long-running price war at home squeeze margins all along the supply chain. They are also seeking to skirt punishing tariffs in Europe and the USA by building production facilities there, and bowing to pressure from foreign customers for more localized production. The fact that overseas investments now outpace domestic ones reflects a saturated Chinese market, and the strategic appeal of expanding abroad for higher returns, said Armand Meyer, senior research analyst at Rhodium and an author of the report. The report notes that around 3/4 of the overseas investments came from battery manufacturers. This has resulted in companies like CATL following their clients to their home markets, as tariffs drive the need for domesticated production and lower transportation costs. These same companies are quickly learning that overseas investments don't become profitable overnight. While factories in China can pop up in a matter of months, the start of production in Europe, Mexico, and the USA can take years. Mountains of red tape and political grandstanding only complicate things. The report notes that only 25% of overseas projects invested in have been completed, while those at home have a 45% completion rate. Beijing is also freaking out a bit. The government is worried about technology transferring to other countries, a loss of jobs, and so-called industrial hollowing out. This is weighing heavily on those controlling the money, and could, according to Rhodium, lead to tighter government control on foreign investments. The symbolism of these numbers is huge. For the first time ever, China's EV future is being built outside of its own walls. Whether or not its existing investment pays off is another story. But this shift, a geopolitical one, shows how global and risky the transition from gas to electrification has become. Source: reposted and summarized from Rob Stumpf at insideevs.